The national park lodges, are they for people or profit? I remember the first time I stayed in a national park lodge. I was 20 and had a good job in Alaska. I flew down to the lower 48 for a visit, and instead of flying directly to my destination, I rented a car in Seattle and toured the West. Believe it or not, they gave me a new black Firebird with a V8 engine and a screaming chicken on the hood. I rolled into Yellowstone, watched Old Faithful erupt, and then went to the impressive inn, circa 1904. I was surprised the rooms were affordable. Now I don't remember exactly what I paid, but I was accustomed to staying in Motel 6s for $10 a night, and I know I would have never paid more than double that. So let's say I paid $20 to stay in the Old Faithful Inn. As a young man venturing into the world on my own, I was hugely impressed by the massive log structure with a 76-foot-tall 5-story lobby and multiple balconies. I sprang for a steak dinner in the distinctive dining room. This was heady stuff for a kid under 21, and it led to a lifelong affection for the national park lodges. At that time in the late 70s, national park lodges maintained reasonable rates. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, that $20 charge in 1979 would be about $91 in today's money. But the same room today costs $502 with tax. That's more than 5 times as much in inflation-adjusted dollars for the same room. The room I could afford to stay in as a working-class 20-year-old is unaffordable for me as a 65-year-old retiree. Things have changed. Old Faithful is part of an experimental program that allows the vendor, Xanterra, to charge whatever the market will bear for its rooms. The fee is unrelated to costs or inflation. It's simply the highest price consumers will pay. And my question is, who benefits? Certainly not me, a visitor who's foreclosed from staying in the expensive rooms. But it sure must be good for Xanterra's bottom line. In 1998, the rules for pricing at national park lodges changed. Instead of pricing based on actual costs and reasonable profits, the rules were changed to, quote, rely on market forces and reflect the competitive marketplace, close quote. And lodges were allowed to match the rates of comparable hotels outside of the park. So let's move to a place that's not under the what the market will bear experiment of Old Faithful Inn, but operates under the 1998 law. The results are not so different. When I first started traveling to Grand Canyon, I booked the hotel most like the Old Faithful Inn, El Tovar Hotel, built in 1905. About a decade ago, I paid about $100 for a room at El Tovar. Currently, that room rents for $500 a night. That's not so different from the price increases at Old Faithful. And when I started hiking at Grand Canyon regularly, I moved to the less expensive Maswick Lodge. But prices there are increasing well above the rate of inflation. For example, in 2023, the rack rate for a room at Maswick was $225, and it could be discounted to as little as $69 off-season. In 2024, the rack rate for the exact same room is $330, a 46% increase in 1 year. How do they justify a 46% increase? For the same period of time, the Social Security cost of living increase, which is supposed to be based on inflation, was only 3.2%. And I've got to wonder what the Grand Canyon uses as comparable hotels. I mean, Xanterra owns the Grand Hotel in Tucson and can manipulate prices in that comparable location. Rooms in Flagstaff regularly run half the price of those at Grand Canyon, but I doubt they use those as comps. Even though Grand Canyon is apparently not under the special What the Market Will Bear program as Old Faithful Inn, the rate increases are extreme and, to me, unjustifiable. Plus, it sure looks like the system is being manipulated to create the same increase in room rates at El Tovar as Old Faithful Inn, despite the fact El Tovar is not part of the test program. Certainly, the rate increases hurt me, but who do they benefit? Xantara is a privately held corporation owned by billionaire Philip Anschutz, ranked by Forbes as the 45th richest person in the US and a regular donor to conservative causes. He's the one raking in the windfall profits. So I'm getting shut out of staying at national park lodges while the richest are getting richer. Now, Old Faithful Inn and El Tovar Hotel were originally built to cater to the very rich. And although for a time people like me could afford to stay there, the tide is shifting and the lodges are once again becoming the domain of the rich. In 1872, the law that created Yellowstone as the world's first national park said it was, quote, for the benefit and enjoyment of the people, close quote. And those words are engraved on the arch at the entrance to the park. Isn't it ironic that the same park is pricing the inn out of the reach of the common people and returning it to be the territory of the rich? This is a public policy issue. Are the national park lodges for the benefit of the American people or to make the 45th richest man in America richer? I have a vested interest in this issue, and I believe the lodges are for the people. But the current laws and policies say the lodges are for private profit, and they're moving further in that direction every day. There's been a societal shift where the laws and governmental policies favor corporations and the wealthy. It's as if we're returning to the robber baron days. Luckily, I was able to enjoy the national park lodges when they were still affordable, and hopefully policies will shift so that they become affordable to the common people once again. Let me know what you think, and thank you for watching.